Hello, everybody, and welcome in for another episode of Beyond the Orange, brought to you by the great people at Knoxville Smiles. Coming up tonight on the show, we have Tennessee baseball coach Josh Elander. Coach Elander, you look at how quickly this thing flipped, right? You're in the middle of fall ball. All of a sudden, there's this chatter. I remember being in Alabama, checking into the hotel when the Tony Vitello news started to really, get pushed out there. I mean, it had been kind of rumored back and forth, but nothing had really materialized. All of a sudden, boom. A couple days later, he's gone.
Yeah.
A couple days later, you're the head baseball coach. How quick was that tornado of time?
It definitely didn't feel like it was very quick in the moment, but it was just wild for us. We were scrimmaging that day. The Alabama game was in the evening, so we wanted to make sure the guys could watch the football game, and everybody was excited for that. And then my phone started kind of blowing up a little bit, just from some people giving us kind of a heads up, or everyone was kind of asking questions. But it was a wild day I'll never forget, but thankful to still be here and excited for the future of this crew.
You're up for the job. I remember calling you, and you're like, I'm getting on this plane. And what most people don't know is you flew to Atlanta on a commercial plane, drove to, I guess, Parker Search Firm or someplace close to Parker Search Firm, did the interview down there. It's not like you just went across the street and interviewed like, like most people would for a regular job. You went to another city and then flew back. What was that like?
It was honestly, it was kind of a cool experience just to get on a plane. And, I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, jumped on the plane, and had to make sure I had all my suit and stuff ready to rock and roll. Wanted to make sure everything made it there in one piece, and then hopped on an Uber, did the deal. It was kind of like a surreal experience, but just the way it went down, it was cool to be able to spend time with our administrators and get to know them a little bit better. And I don't know how long we were in there, but it was for a while. But we really got to have some good conversations, and I think that kind of springboarded us into the first week when I was fortunate enough where they did actually give me the job. That was kind of the beginning of what's been a good thing moving forward.
Now, you talked about it kind of moving slow during that time, and maybe for you, it moved fast in the grand scheme of things. But that window of time between when you interviewed and when you actually found out you got the job, how much did you have to block out everything else? Because, I mean, I'm sure you had agent calling, mom and dad calling, wives talking to you, people like me are calling, and you're like, got to get away from this.
Yeah, my focus really at the beginning was just when the news actually broke that Saturday we were playing Bama. Originally was just like the recruiting classes, right? Because they were, again, really excited about that group and how we were able to hold them together. But as soon as something like that happens in the SEC, like people are coming after those guys really quickly, right? So, but also my wife was a superstar and looping in my parents and handling all that where I could really kind of focus on, obviously, our current team and then the recruiting classes. And just trying to make the days as normal as we could because everyone's kind of walking around in the building, looking around those few days. But it was still a very important part of the fall where we had a chance to stack some quality days going into the break. So proud of how our guys handled it. But my wife did a really good job of handling the stuff on the peripheral, and then I was able to kind of focus on keeping the main thing.
Danny tells you get the job. How quickly did you call the wife? Right then and there in the room?
So we were in touch. Again, it happened. It was kind of a whirlwind. I was so gassed that day to Atlanta and back. It was very taxing. It was just kind of a different deal from early in the morning back, and then just the mental energy of making sure you throw the best punch in that deal. But she was over there. Alicia Longworth did an amazing job of getting her and my girls over to the stadium. So it was cool. I got to share a moment with Frank. He was over there and got to see him for a second. We spent 9 years in the dugout together. So obviously super excited for him to be able to go to the big leagues, but that's a moment I won't forget. And then my family was there, and just to be able to have that maybe 2 or 3 minutes before I got to see the team, to have, I always say, my two families in one spot was something I'll never forget.
And then your mom and dad. I remember the day, you get the job. I call you. I said, "Hey, man, you got a number for your mom and dad?" Because people love human interest stuff. Like they want to hear from moms and dads and how proud they are. What was that phone call like?
It was exciting. It was they did a good job of having some feel throughout the process, like going through my wife, because again, they're my family, and
they'd come to town, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah, they were here.
Yeah, so they ended up coming about a week later because we always kind of scattered it. Where they love Tennessee. My dad is a UT Texas grad, but he loves Knoxville and loves being up here. So they come up throughout the course of the fall to either a football game and to see our girls, but. No, they were just again amazing and handled everything the right way, and I know they'll be cheering on the Big Orange Plenty this spring.
So if you beat Texas in the series, will you text them a little horns down?
Well, that's the one thing that's always been great about my family because they were kind of split down the middle with Aggies and Longhorns, and then I ended up going a different route to play. But regardless of, they support our crew at all times, so they'll be head to toe in Tennessee Orange regardless of who we play.
Have you let yourself think about that first game? I mean, February baseball, is a hit and miss unless you're going to, one of these destination spots, like going into Texas or Arizona like you'll have the last several years. Have you let yourself think about that first home game, though? Because, I mean, the stadium is going to look a little different than what it did at this time last year.
100%. I think that's probably the uniqueness of this is, again, I think everyone's just really excited with us not having played a fall game against outside competition this year. And then each day just seeing the stadium get a little bit better and a little bit better. And I remember sitting with families, and Coach V and I were, trying to convince guys to come to Tennessee. And, our vision was always stacking these recruiting classes up and then opening up, the stadium, which now we think will be one of the best in college sports. So it's been cool. Even just the lighting that's new. I think the fan experience is going to be even better. But again, just really been trying to attack each day, making sure we have a good plan going into spring training, because, people really probably don't know is we used to only have about like 2.5, 3 weeks to get rolling full speed with the guys. And it's kind of crazy if you think about it, but they've changed the rules where we actually get a couple more weeks. So just going to kind of attack each day. We always talk about with this crew and the teams and the players have been fortunate to coach is just got to get them to the race, and then we let them run. So we take care of the preparation and the practice. We always say that belongs to the staff. We're going to get you in a good spot, but once the games start, we're handing you the keys to the car and you guys are driving. So looking forward to that transition, but at the same time, there's a lot of work to be done between now and the first game.
He's running, he's driving. Either way, we're going to drive ourselves right into a break. We'll talk more about this team when we come back on Beyond the Orange.
Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair is proud to be celebrating 70 years of serving East Tennessee. That's 70 years of old school customer service, trustworthy auto repair, and of course, great deals on tires. Each one of our 5 convenient East Tennessee locations feature family-friendly waiting areas, and you can schedule appointments and search for tires right on our website at matlocktireservice.com. Modern convenience, hometown values. For 70 years and counting, Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair.
A beacon of hope in a world of high prices. Look to the skies, Knoxville. Super savings is here. Right now, get 0% APR, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on select models, plus 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance during our Super Summer Sales event.
And don't forget about back-to-school service savings on mobile, pickup, and delivery.
Come see the Super Dealer today at either Ted Russell Ford location.
What's the #1 home improvement project you can do for your house? Install an Aqua Clear water system. If you see one of our blue and green trucks coming down the road, we're on our way to help another Tennessee family get better water. You owe it to yourself and your family to find out why 18,000 Tennessee homeowners have made the switch to Aqua Clear water systems. For your free water test and estimate, scan the QR code on the screen. We'll change your water. It'll change your life.
Hi, I'm Matt Marshall with Exterior Home Solutions.
Hi, I'm Dustin Woodson, also with Exterior Home Solutions.
We are now easier than ever to find, right off of I-75 and Merchants Road.
It's a new location, but the same trusted expertise in roofing and siding that you've come to trust over the past 25 years.
Local quality craftsmanship, licensed and insured.
For the best and most trusted name in roofing and siding, scan the QR code on your screen.
Exterior Home Solutions, when it has to be the best.
Beyond the Orange is brought to you by the great people at Knoxville Smiles. What makes you smile the most?
Probably wins, right? Those are always fun. And then my girls. Those are 2 easy ones right there.
When I talked to your mom the day you got hired, she talked about the look on your kids' faces when you get to open the door. When the door swings open and those girls come running to see daddy. I'm a girl dad. The whole mama's boy, daddy's girl, that's a real thing. I mean, they're partial to you.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love just getting home, regardless of day game, night game, long day, short day. Just being able to see them and how happy they are each day. My wife does a good job of kind of hyping it up when I come in the house, so I owe her for that too. But, it's just a good perspective deal, right? Because I live really entirely 2 different worlds where it's all the dudes in one spot and it's competitive and everything going on. And then I get to kind of change gears, and that's just such a gift just to be able to get home and be with that crew. And eternally grateful for how great my wife does with our kiddos and our team is what we call it. But I'm always excited to get home and see the home team.
Going home, are you playing princess? Like, what do we do when we get home? Because I've seen them. They don't look like boyish girls. These are girly girls, right? I mean, like these look like they're dressing up in like Anna and Elsa dresses and having a princess tea party.
Well, as a girl, Dan, Anna and Elsa are always Frozen. I've seen that probably 47 times over the course. Now it's the debate: do you watch Frozen 1 or Frozen 2? But again, K-pop Demon Hunters was a big one there for a while over Christmas break, and now we got the piano going and all kinds of stuff. So it's controlled chaos is the only way to say it. But we're mixing some softball. We've done some basketball stuff too, and again, we just like to have fun with them, and they're a lot of fun.
What's the one thing that you like most about this year's team?
Great question.
I mean, do you even know that yet?
Yeah, I think that's, again, you really never know. That's kind of the scariest thing as a coach, especially in baseball, until you line it up against somebody else, like what you truly, truly have. Like, because now the SEC, it's so different each year, even from 5 years ago or 9 years ago when we got here. You could kind of map out, okay, like this is when this guy's probably going to peak, or that's his junior year. This is what this team's rotation will look like. It's changed so much with the portal, with incoming and outcoming, and now these condensed rosters. But I just like the leadership of this group is really exciting. I think like Levi Clark being kind of an underclassman, Stone Lawless, like the catching, like we're really strong in the middle of the field with guys that may be younger on paper, but have a experience playing in the SEC. The most valuable thing in baseball is experience in our league. If you have that plus talent, it's a pretty dangerous combination. So like this group, but like maybe one or two things, I'm just excited to see how they compete moving forward.
Everybody loves to talk about transfers, especially in this era with so many of them. But a guy like Trey Lipscomb stuck it out, developed, boom, has that unbelievable last year. Who can be that this year? Maybe that goes from kind of nowhere to somewhere in a hurry.
Yeah, that's a great one. I mean, that's one of the things we did, ironically, right after we got the job. He was in town, and Coach Kivett and I got with him and had Trey come talk to the team, and this is kind of a cool thing. So obviously Trey and his progression really didn't play, redshirted, and then ends up being what should have been SEC Player of the Year. But he said in our meeting when he left, he had just as much fun the year where he really didn't play as he did when he almost won SEC Player of the Year. So that's something I'll kind of never forget, just makeup and how he always did everything right. But, Blake Grimmer's a guy that's kind of been working behind the scenes, that's played in spots here and had some draft interest last year, that's had a really good fall. But, that's the coolest thing is there's always somebody that kind of comes out of nowhere and really can become a household name pretty quick. And whether it's Kavaris Tears or Dylan Dreiling or Drew Beam on the mound, I'm excited to see who the next guy is.
The pitching staff, you got Frank's gone, so I mean, you got a new guy leading the pitching staff, which is a familiar face. I mean, sure. for the guys that have been in the room, how will that change though? I mean, because it is a different guy that walks out there to the mound,
right,
with a different personality.
Well, I think the uniqueness is Tony had, again, Frank being older and all he's accomplished in his career, like to have somebody else that could assist in that capacity was a genius move by him. So it's not like this is a brand new guy who has no idea how the day-to-day goes.
Sure.
And, but obviously Ren playing catch with those guys, being in the trenches over the course of the last 2 years, I think they're excited. And I know he's excited too. And it's not like he has to put his stamp on things. It's going to be very similar. Protecting 90 feet, attacking the strike zone. I'm really excited. Him and I have talked a bunch about, the value of controlling the running game a little bit better, protecting 90 feet. So I think with Coach Kiv and obviously Chuck, like we're excited to make a few adjustments there that maybe some teams from the outside said, hey, this is how we can get them. So we'll close that gap, but Ren is more than capable and we'll do a great job with our arms this year.
All right, give me your starting 9 and your starting pitcher first game.
I don't know if I can tell you that right?
I'm playing. That's the kind of stuff that like the fans like, hey, give me ask Eric Kane. What's the starting 9? Who's your Friday night pitcher? And like, how quickly do you mold that though? Like, because I mean, you talk about not playing anybody else all through fall camp, unlike normal.
Right.
Is that a good thing? Because all of a sudden they're pretty pent up. Like, I'm tired of facing this dude. I'm ready to see somebody else.
Yeah, I think like for one example would be like Brady Frederick is a guy we're excited about. He's a submarine pitcher. His fingers,
Beard and grad, baby.
Yeah, local kid. His fingers basically scrape the ground when he throws. But he was really good versus us last year when he was at ETSU. And then guys kind of figure him out throughout the course of the fall, seeing him 4, 5, or 6 times or whatever it may be. So, again, we've had some different guys and how they go through it, but we always talk about like it's pole position in the fall, and then the spring is like, hey, you better separate yourself. And then eventually one guy's like, hey, like force me to put you in the lineup. Like, don't give me a choice, like by the way you play. So again, that's something our guys really take pride in, is attacking each day, but also having like the cognizance of, we always show them at the beginning of the year, like the opening day lineup and rotation is never the same halfway through the year and never the same at the end of the year. So there's a lot of change throughout the course of the year, but how those guys attack each day and getting better, like I'm excited because there can be some movement, and we'll see who closes those gaps.
If you hadn't had those games where Tony got suspended and you had to serve as the interim coach, nobody, I don't know, would have ever heard your voice before you took this job. You were just the guy behind the beard. And like, you know, if you ever thought, I mean, just like people are really kind of getting, I mean, I see you do the media circuits and you're hitting everything right now as people get geared up for baseball. What can fans expect from you?
Well, I think just in my old role, I was so like obsessive with the recruiting, and I think that's what I learned from Tony. I always will be, right? Where being a third base coach, you can kind of be behind the scenes, almost on your island, like really, you know, in the cage or on the road or whatever it may be. But you know, I think like again, this is not like I don't see it as like a coming out party or anything. It's more just, hey, like I'm going to pour my energy into making sure our guys in a position to have success. That's really what I've always put my energy, and just having like real relationships and being in the trenches with them. I think I learned that from V, and that's something I'll do throughout the rest of, you know, my personal coaching career. But I just want our guys, when people come to watch us play, like they play hard and they act right. And those are the two things that I want them to see. And then whether it be like fundamentals and all the other great plays and stuff guys can do, like again, there'll be some things this team can do that people will be excited about, but just good kids that act right and play hard. That's what we're looking for.
How much did that help you to get that opportunity just to coach a few games where you're the guy that does the media afterwards, where you're the guy that you know is responsible for the game day decisions, just to have a feel for it?
No, 100%. It's definitely a comforting deal. Like we always laugh. I mean, I always say those wins were just another win for V. I remember people asking me like, hey, is that your, like, I never thought like, okay, this is my time to shine. And in one of the situations like that, it was like, hey, like, okay, what is our job? And then how do we execute? Right. So, but I think just like all encompassing, like now being the head coach, like I have to go through the evolution of like, you know, obviously being in the X's and O's and working with the offense, like that's something I continue to do, but like culture and like message to the team, like I have to continue to make the adjustment there, right, to kind of close that gap, because Tony was so great with that deal. But even like you said, just like, hey, like when do you make a pitching change? Or, hey, do you want to go, you know, now we have with our director of analytics, there's so many different things you can make decisions on. It's like, hey, do you want to go left on left here? Or do you go gut feel, like, hey, this guy's throwing it good, you let him run a little bit. So just to be able to kind of go through those a few times, it definitely gives me a sense of comfort kind of going into that. I've kind of been there before and know how everything kind of plays out. And there'll be plenty of challenges and things I need to learn, but I have great people around me that'll help. There's no doubt.
When we come back, we'll get to know more about Coach Elander, more on Beyond the Orange.
Brought to you by Food City. It's the Ask Coach Heupel Show.
Hello, and welcome to Ask Coach Heupel. I'm your host, Josh Heupel. Glenn asks, Coach, how does one join the Vol Navy? It's a great question. Well, Glenn, you don't necessarily need a boat. You need a friend with a boat. Always arrive with beef, fresh cut by a Food City butcher, and you'll be welcomed aboard. This has been Ask Coach Heupel. With me, Coach Heupel.
And action our
Attention drives connection. Tell your story well. GoPopFizz.com/vol.
Knoxville Smiles depend on us to make your smile better. Knoxville Smiles, are you happy with your smile today? Knoxville Smiles, we're all about smiles.
Hey Lance, what makes you smile?
Pancake blocks.
The Volunteer Club is your all-access pass to the heartbeat of Tennessee athletics. Ride the orange wave to private events, limited edition merchandise, gifts, and more featuring your favorite UT athletes. Fuel the tradition, celebrate the wins, and stand shoulder to shoulder with the Volunteer family. The Volunteer Club is the home of the most passionate volume fans. Join us today.
I was coming home. I had a flat tire. Well, the local authorities proceeded to ask me some questions, and then that led to my arrest. There were some facts that needed to be presented that could help me with my case. I was exonerated. I would contribute that to Mr. Garza and his staff's efforts. He assured me that he would do all within his power to assist me in seeing this through.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Everybody ready?
Attention drives connection. Tell your story well. GoPopFizz.com/vol.
The proud presenting sponsor for Beyond the Orange is Garza Law. Their motto, let us help. Who's helped you out the most during your baseball life? It doesn't have to be here at Tennessee during your baseball journey.
That's a great question. I mean, I could probably list about 20 people, but I would go to one of my high school coaches named Pat Loader. He's no longer with us. But just a guy that was amazing as far as the day-to-day and loving and having fun, and whether it be just in the cage working or whatnot. So that's a guy that everything he taught me will definitely stick with me for a long time.
When you look at yourself off the field, what's something most people don't know about you?
That's a great question. Honestly, man, I'm probably pretty boring from the outside. I really pour all my energy into my family, my girls, and then I like to, be in the gym, and health is something that's kind of very important, right? Just because, being the long days of whether it be traveling and all the stuff that goes into it, like you have to take care of yourself too. But, I'm not like a big video game guy or anything like that. We always joke like our players want to get home and play Fortnite or NCAA or whatever it may be. But, again, with kind of the limited, you have to. I'm a big believer you can have kind of anything you want, but not everything, right? So, but those are the three things, really be my family, work, and then just taking care of all the other stuff like that. That's where I go.
You told me you love to go and read to students, those type things. Where does that come from?
Well, if you look at just my family as a whole, like my wife was a kindergarten teacher. And just to be able to kind of see when we were young and I was still playing, and then when you get out and starting to get coaching, like what an impact like teachers can make on kids, and then how much goes into it, just like the time. And I remember my wife was having to spend some of her own money to get stuff for the students or whatever. I think a lot of people don't really realize that goes on behind the scenes. And then my older sister was an elementary school teacher, and then my younger sister is a professor but was a high school teacher. So just seeing the impact that those people could make, and just being able to do something little like that. Like I remember Evan Russell and Jay Charleston, we had a deal when our oldest daughter, AJ, was just born, and my wife was still teaching up in halls. Like we just showed up and they read a book, and everyone had so much fun. It was just a cool deal. And I remember being a kid too, just the high schoolers come over and read and whatnot, and the impact it can have. So that's just something we've always really believed in.
Will you be a big guy that gravitates towards fans after games? Because you talk about leaving an impact. How many little kids come in there and they want their ball signed and those type things, and that's something Tony was really good at.
He was phenomenal. No, I think being able to kind of see how he went from, there weren't a lot of people at our games at the very beginning. We weren't winning, to all of a sudden there's tons. But I remember at times, Tony and I were usually the last couple guys to leave each night. I always kind of like to take my time after the game and do my post report, and then make sure I know everything about the starter going to the next day, and then get some info to the guys, and then kind of get out. But he was always he would never go the head down, rush out. And I would always joke oh no, make sure you get Burke's heart. You don't want mine at this time coming out. But no, it was cool to see how he handled that. But it's just been really cool to see the evolution of, not a ton of fans to a lot of fans, and then fans knowing this about Jay and this about Levi, really being invested in our program. We don't take that for granted.
What's the biggest takeaway, from your time working for Tony and Frank?
That's a good question, man. I said in the press conference, putting your soul in the game. Again, it's a unique situation with, he's not married, doesn't have any kids, right? So we always talk about this is his baby, and he was almost obsessive about what's the next task and what to do. And but I think just on the recruiting side, on the eval and the progression, I think him and I worked incredibly well together, kind of how we attacked that deal. And but yeah, a ton of things, but also just again, what I mean, getting your soul in the game is hey, let's put it all on the line and figure out what we got, right? And then getting buy-in from the players. And a lot of that, I think, was just how he went about his day-to-day business. And a lot of that is stuff that I naturally do as well too, just because I played for him in college and then worked with him. And we were talking today up in the office. I think we spent like 12 or 13 years in the dugout together. That's a long time if you really think about it. And then Frank, I think just again with the pitchers, like there was never like any magic dust or anything that he did. I think it was just competing and attacking the strike zone, like saying, hey, you can get these guys out. Like, again, he'd always talk about the best, hitters are hitting 300. That means they're getting out 7 out of 10 times. So go get them as the pitcher and getting guys to buy into that. So learned a ton from both that will stick with me for a long time. And you'll continue to see kind of fingerprints of that across our program for a long time.
We'll wrap up this episode of Beyond the Orange right after this.
A beacon of hope in a world of high prices. Look to the skies, Knoxville. Super Savings is here. Right now, get 0% APR, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on select models, plus 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance during our Super Summer Sales event.
And don't forget about back-to-school service savings on mobile, pickup, and delivery.
Come see the super dealer today at either Ted Russell Ford location.
To pay for stuff, spending. I do not know. Babe, candy. Spend me. Use me to buy stuff.
It's never too early to learn more about personal finance. At Hearthside Bank, we work closely with our community to help meet your goals and achieve your financial dreams. Hearthside Bank, always within reach. Member FDIC.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Yeah. Hi, honey. I know you're super busy right now, but I ordered some ribeyes and a few other things for curbside pickup at Food City. Can you grab it on your way home?
Sure thing, hon. Gotta run. Wait, did you get some of those twice baked potatoes? Okay, love ya. Really gotta run.
Got a lot going on? Let the professional shoppers do the work for you. Just set a pickup time and your groceries will be ready. Try curbside pickup at Food City today.
Oh, sorry. We need dog food too.
This week's Food City Flashback takes us back to about a year and a half ago. Tennessee with the big strikeout, the national champs clad in orange and white. What a run it was in Omaha just a year and a half ago. Josh, for this team to have any kind of run to Omaha, what has to happen?
That's a good question. I mean, again, if you look at Omaha, how hard it is to get, like we were so fortunate where we went, 21 and then 22, an amazing year, and then 23 and 24 to be able to go back to back. And ultimately, when it is so hard at any point in the postseason, it's just so competitive. But I think the two things we look at, we show our players this all the time. If you have over a 380 OBP as a group, so guys are getting on base, grinding out at bats, and you walk less than 3.5 per 9, you got a chance to get there pretty quickly, right? So those are two easy ones right there. I think kind of like a bird's eye view, but I think this one too, just kind of settle, like let guys settle into roles and go get what they want. That's a term we use a lot in our building, but we got a ton of talent. I'm excited to see kind of how it shuffles out this spring.
Have you ever been thrown out of a game before?
Never. So as a player,
you always remember your first.
Well, as a player coach, funny. We have our first coaches meeting tomorrow, and that's one is like, okay, when I get launched the first time, who's going where? So we'll have a contingency plan for that, but we'll see how that plays out.
I do wonder how the umpires are going to see you. Like all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, the fiery old guy's not over there yelling from the dugout, and Tony, the red-blooded Italian's not either.
The craziest thing was obviously I think everybody kind of knew like at the beginning that was our stick. Like we're not just gonna be pushed around like around the league and just kind of get beat every weekend and kind of shoot out of town. But it was just funny like over the years like the umpires would obviously V would do the home plate meeting and they'd all like kind of say hi to Frank out of the corner of their eye, like basically like there he is. They knew, like, hey, what they were in for each weekend. So, no, it'll be interesting to see how that evolves. But we got some good ones in the league now, too, with how you can track, like, if they're calling balls or strikes at a high level or not. And we're fortunate we're in the league. We got some of the best guys in the country.
Speaking of a high level, I know you have plans on keeping Tennessee baseball at a high level for many years to come. Good luck this year, and we appreciate you going to be on the Orange.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man.